stick for far too long. Artturi Lehkonen returns to the lineup, and the Avs look to return to winning hockey games. Let's start the pregame show. Welcome into the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. This is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light. The Avs are taking on the Seattle Kraken tonight. Lecky is back in the lineup. We don't have official lines yet, but the expectation is Lecky will slot in and Oliver Shillington will end up being the healthy scratch for the night. Look, Lecky's a big piece, but maybe the more interesting conversation as far as the Avs lineup is concerned, Justus Annunen getting the start tonight. I think you pretty much have to readily accept that he is the de facto starter at this point in the season. Certainly, our Avs fan base on Twitter, we ran a poll of it. The vast majority of you, 78.4%, think that Justus should be the Avs starting goaltender. Are we there? Is Justus the starter for now, at least?
Well, the DNVR family, very important that we see the poll. I think us internally here, very important that we believe the same as the polls revealed. But I think the most important thing is what Jared Bednar thinks, right? And if you look back at it, he obviously was in there in those two relief appearances and didn't go well. And then all of a sudden he was given the net, if we remember, and then he went for 4 juice boxes in a row, right, where he was awesome. And then took that break where everybody went 1-1-1, right? You know, Georgiev took one, Kakinen took one, then he took one. What does that tell you? It tells you that they feel that the most ready goaltender to win the hockey game tonight is Justus Annunen. So that means a lot. Like I said, not only just to the Polars and us, but from Jared Bednar. Now, he's going to run with it. He's got to take the ball and run with it. You're going to say,
sure.
Well, he kind of ran with it. Well, yeah, yes and no. A couple setbacks here at the end. Not his fault, but you got to come up with some victories. You got to come up with some outstanding performances where there is no doubt that they put you in the net. And then, like we always said, they're not going to keep 3 goaltenders. We all know that. It's going to sort itself out here coming up. And I think the play of Justus will dictate what's going to happen next.
I don't disagree. Goaltending is that important, and it's a marathon, not a sprint when it comes to an NHL season, so there's a lot of time left. But for now, I don't know that you have a choice but to trust Justus. So it is what it is on that front for the Avs. Beyond that, we did hear from you two today at Morning Skate, as usual. Hockey in the Rockies. How are the Avs shaping up for this game?
Hey everybody, it's the DNVR Hockey in the Rockies back together again, and it feels so good. Biggie and Gizmo getting you all set for puck drop tonight. The Seattle Kraken in town, and if you thought that the Colorado Avalanche were struggling, it's tough sledding in the other room right now for Seattle on back-to-back shutouts. Lots going wrong over there. A real good opportunity for Colorado to jump on them.
Yeah, there was talk that maybe there'll be a few scratches, right? Guys that are usually not scratched, but hey, listen, when you don't perform to the level you're supposed to, it doesn't matter what team it is, then there's usually changes. Obviously, when it comes down to the Avalanche, this should be a good opponent for them. Like you just alluded to, there have been no goals for the Seattle Kraken in the last couple games, and we all know that the production for the Avalanche has not been the greatest with, obviously, the depleted lineup. So tonight, you know what? Put the working boots on. I think the biggest key tonight is puck management. If you're the Avalanche, you got to manage the puck the right way. If you do that, you should be in good shape right now to come out on top with the visiting Seattle Kraken.
It's got to be a fast start for this team tonight. They have not done so at home, so the comfortability at Ball Arena is not there. It's real important for the Avalanche to jump immediately on this one, have a good start, and then carry that through and finish like they have at home.
You're bang on, because when they did that last year or the last few years, all of a sudden the other teams are chasing the game. And when you're chasing the game against the Avalanche, I don't care who's missing. There's still McCarr. There's still Rantanen. There's still McKinnon. There are guys that can make you pay. And when you take the lead, it will open the game up. And you have to change. I don't care what coaches say. We stuck with it. No. Somewhere, somehow, you have to open up. You have to take chances when you're down in a game. So if the Avalanche can get on top of it, this is something they haven't really done a lot, especially at home. But if they can go and be dynamite tonight in the first 10, 15 minutes, there should be a wide open game for them.
And lastly, some roster moves. Lehkonen will figure back into the lineup. He will play tonight. Drouin will not. He is close. And Justus Annunen will get the start between the pipes for Colorado.
I'm glad to see that Justus is back in and see what's going to happen there. I think you got to, at some point, you have to run with it. You have to run with the ball that's been given to you. And I think this is a big test for him tonight. And you're right, Drouin, I can't wait to see him back. It's going to make me feel a little bit better. No offense to the guys that are there, but Drouin is such a big piece, and he's been gone for a long time now. Happy to see Lecky back. Hopefully, the bodies that will come back are going to be fresh bodies, and they're bringing a little bit of life into the lineup, so it should be exciting tonight.
All right, that's it for Hockey in the Rockies. Big E and I will have you covered throughout the rest of the game. Make sure you're following us on social. Join Rudo for the watch-along. They'll be at the DNVR bar on Colfax. I'll be holding it down right here at Ball Arena. Puck drop tonight against the Seattle Kraken.
Love that you guys brought up the Avs need a fast start here. In this one, I want to pull up my stat pack here, and we can talk a little bit more about that. For starters, this is two teams in pretty similar spots in the standings right now. The Avs are 5-7. Seattle is 5-7-1. So they're both sitting in the same range, but when you look at how they're getting there, the Avs probably deserve a little bit better. They're a top 10 in expected goals for percentage generated, whereas Seattle is a bottom 5 team in that regard. The Avs should be the better team here, even with some of the lineup shortcomings that the Avs are dealing with right now. The big problem for the Avs, they're the worst high-danger shooting percentage team in the league. We've talked a lot about how they just don't have the goal scorers right now. Getting Lecky back should be one of those.
Crazy.
It is. It's wild. Seattle has shot very well on their high-danger chances, but they don't generate a ton of them. The P1G, period 1 goals. The Avs, 13 goals in the first period so far this year. Seattle, just 9. The Avs should be able to outscore this team in the first period. And we talked before on this show, the Avs are a much, much, much better team when playing from ahead. So hopefully they can get there in a lead for the majority of this game and make their lives a little bit easier. The flip side of that, the Avs have only come back to win once when it comes to the first goal. If they do not score the first goal, they have 1 win this year in those games. They are not a very good team playing that way. They have to start this one on time.
This Joe Sacco starting on time.
Yeah, exactly.
My buddy, my pal. But I agree. Remember last year I used to always say, like, oh my God, score the first goal, score the first goal. Mark Crawford was big on that. Always pregame speech was always about that. Let's get the first one. And the Avs last year always bit me, you know what I mean, like in the back, because they just came back every game. It didn't matter the first goal. And I'm like, God, it's going against my philosophy, you know what I mean? But I'm a big, big believer that the first goal of the game is a huge factor. I think it's good to have a culture in the sense that it doesn't matter if you fall behind. Obviously, that's the one, because if you're going to get scored on, you're not going to pack it in. Oh, God, we got to score it on. Let's pack it in. Let's not play the game. So, but I do believe that they will always tell you it doesn't matter. We just got to fight through. But I think they are a different team when they play with the lead and when they play, especially early in the game with the lead. I do believe that, especially at home, which is something they haven't done. But you've seen it over the last 4 or 5 years a lot where they just jump on teams right away, get the game out of reach right away in the first period, and then never look back. So hopefully this is one of those nights.
I hope so. We have to wait and see, of course, but we can hope for the best on that front. Again, the Avs, you do feel like should have a little bit more firepower with Lehkonen back in the lineup. Are they all-world goal scoring all of a sudden? No. They're still going to need nights from their best players, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But ultimately, look, Seattle is not that good of a hockey team. I know you're looking at your lineup and you're not in love with some of the forward core still, but you got to find a way to start winning hockey games regardless of who's in your lineup. So,
absolutely, and I've been harsh on them a little bit these last couple of weeks, where you're more realistic guy when you're like, man, they got nobody, but I'm always referring back to, Yeah, but they got Mac, they got Miko, and Miko's been silent, right? You know, he's been a little bit sleepy. They got Kale, so I do believe that my argument's still there. But your argument's always been, yeah, but the guys are slotted so wrong in the lineup.
Yep.
But now that you got Lecky back, like we're
helps a little
talking
bit.
about,
It
it just
helps a
helps
little
now
bit.
sliding guys back and you know, where they are and where they can be effective and not be chewing on something that's too much for them to chew on.
We'll get you to that lineup in a little bit. First, so let's hear the big 3 keys from our boy E here.
All right, 3 keys tonight against the Seattle Kraken. Biggest 3 keys. Number 1, manufacture offense 5-on-5. We all know that hasn't been great. I know there's been a lot of bodies missing. It doesn't make an excuse. You got to get there. You got to create some stuff. You got to manage the puck. You got to put the pucks deep. You got to go win battles behind the net, create some stuff. And we all know the Seattle Kraken has not scored a lot of goals, being blank the last 2 games. But nonetheless, the Avalanche have to manufacture some offense there at 5-on-5. Outwork your opponent. Get greasy. Go to Sexy Pizza. We all know where to find pizza. It's right in front of the net. So get greasy, get it done. Control the blue lines. No BLTs tonight. No blue line turnovers. I like food. I like BLTs, but I don't like BLTs on the ice. So control the blue lines. The game's going to be won tonight at both blue lines. What does that mean? Get the pucks in deep. No turnovers at the offensive zone blue line. And then on your own end, don't turn pucks over. Get pucks out. It needs to get out. You don't want to spend any time in your own end tonight. And then number 3, something's got to give. Something's got to give. Both teams are on 3-game losing streaks. Put the pedal to the metal, press on the gas tonight. This is a perfect opponent for you. It's never an easy game in the National Hockey League, especially. I'm not downplaying the Seattle Kraken. I'm saying they've lost 3 in a row, but the Avalanche have lost 3 in a row. Something's got to give tonight, and you got to make sure that you are pedal to the metal. This is a home game. You need that home win to get you back on track there with your home record.
Look, I think a lot of those factors you're talking about, especially things like blue line turnovers, come down to what you were talking about with Lehkonen. As people start to slot, if not back into their position, at least a little bit closer to back to where they should be in the lineup, I don't know that telling you the game slows down is necessarily the right term, but there's a difference when you have the puck at the blue line and Nathan McKinnon is bearing down on you as opposed to Logan O'Connor bearing down on you, right?
There's a big difference. I mean, again, that you're not being disrespectful to Logan O'Connor. You know what I mean?
Not at all.
And I used to have that argument with Joe Sakic all the time. I told you that before. I'd get the puck at the red line, and I'm cool. I'm going to skate it in. You know what I mean? And it's like, buddy, next thing you know, it is a BLT. It is a blue line
Your name's
turnover.
Eric Lacroix. That defense is stepping up on you, buddy.
Like, exactly. And then Joe would be like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, I keep the puck. And I'm like, buddy, they see me come. Their eyes light up. They see guys like, Miles Wood or whoever.
Yeah.
No offense to those guys. But it's like, they pounce and they go towards you and they knock that puck off. If it's McKinnon or Joe Sakic, they back right off. They have all the room in the world because people are so scared of their speed. But I think it's important tonight that the guys manage the game well, manage the puck, clock awareness, know the situation of the game. It's one of those games tonight. It's game 12 now. It's not game 2.
Game 13 even.
Sorry, game 13, my bad. You have to put that into your brain. It's not summer anymore. You have to know what the score is. You have to know the situation that you are in at that time when you have the puck. Is it the first period? Is it the second period? What's going on? Are you pressing the game? Are you guys up by 1? Are you down by 1? Who are you playing against? Are you playing against their 5th, 6th Ds? You got to be in that mode. And usually by game, 13, 14, 15 till the end of the year, usually you're sharp again like you were by the end of the year. I understand there's always a little leeway the first 10 games because you haven't been in game situations. And that's why when you've missed a significant amount of time, it's hard to get your timing back. You hear the guys say that all the time. Oh, my timing's not there. And that's what they mean. The timing is not there. So I think it's important for them to, as a team tonight, Lecky is almost like not human, so his timing will be there because he is Mr. Perfect.
All the Finns seem to have the quick
they know how to
timing
play
pickup.
hockey. They know how to play hockey, but as a team, you got to make sure that they got their timing back tonight.
I hope they do. Jared Bednar talked about not just some of the guys they're getting back, but some of the guys on the horizon at Morning Skate today. So let's see what Coach had to say.
Right off the fight. Coach, I feel like you know the answer already, but when you face a team that's
struggling a little bit, does it change your game plan much at all, or it's just mostly about focusing on what you guys have to do?
Yeah, it's mostly about us, but certainly we want to have a good start. I touched on it on the road. Like, our starts at home have not been good, our first periods in particular. Getting out chance and some of the high quality, high danger scoring chances that we're giving up in the first. It's too many, and we haven't been as dangerous at the other end. Then we kind of get our game in order, and we finish games at home strong, but some of them have been too little too late, you know. So a full 60 minutes for us playing the way that we know we want to play, I think is really important, especially here tonight coming back home.
Is there anything you can attribute poor starts to? Is it comfort here? Is it the other team pushing because of the altitude?
Oh, we haven't won any games at home, so there should be no comfort level, right? Like, no, I can't put my finger on it, but we're talking about a few different things.
On that top power play you guys have had in the bumper spot, a handful of guys have to rotate in there. I'm assuming Artturi will go, in that spot tonight. How has the power play been able to sustain the level they've been at, even though there has been a little bit of a rotating cast there?
Well, credit to the guys that have gone in there. I think all of them are pretty good at what they do in there. Even Ivan's gone in there. He scored in Seattle. He's had some nice chances. It's a matter of, number one, all three guys in the umbrella being dangerous. Like, we want to have a threat from every position on the ice in our power play, right? So we want Mikko to be a threat, Kale, Mac, especially on the umbrella. And then you also want to have the net option in midi. And the more dangerous those guys are with their shooting and retrieving and creating scoring chances, the more open the bumper's going to be, right? So it's got to be a part of our attack, but it can't be the sole purpose of our attack to find that guy in there. I feel like we've done a nice job spreading it around, and Mac in particular has probably found a couple of really nice plays in there to Colton and one to Ivan. So difference, I think, this year from maybe some previous years at times is we're scoring from that spot. Guys are elevating the puck and making some pretty good shots from there. Not that we haven't found it in years past, but I feel like the guys in there are capitalizing at a higher rate than they have in the past.
How would you...
about Casey Middlestat as the net front guy, position that Artturi Lehkonen has otherwise excelled in the past?
Yeah, like those. So Art and Val, Drew, they've all kind of moved around on our unit a little bit. Like, Drew primarily has been in the middle. Artturi's been in the middle or at the net front, and obviously Val is the guy that was really dangerous there last year. But Casey, number one, with the injuries, we want to move him to our top unit. And number two, he's played in a couple different positions over his years in Buffalo, one being down there by the net, one being on his offside, say where Mac would play. So and he did spend time on a strong side half wall too. So generally you get high skill guys year to year. It can change just because of the personnel and what some other guys can do. It was the case in Buffalo with Casey, and it's now the case here. So we want to have him out there. He's got great vision. We've seen it 5-on-5 and on the power play already this year. Like, the little slip passes to the top of the crease that he's made throughout the course of the season to this point, I think have been really impressive, and I think he has that ability to help the power play in the same way.
How would you assess Devontae's this season just overall for you?
I'd say it's okay so far. Obviously, he hits a bump in the road, misses time. So I'd say his game hasn't got quite up to par where I would want it to be or where he wants it to be after his return. I really like this camp exhibition, but then he gets hurt. So now it's a different ball game. I need him to be a little bit more assertive in his game. And when he's been super dangerous. He had two great high-quality scoring chances off the rush, just quick O-zone plays the other night in Nashville. He missed the net on both of them, and both of those could have been difference makers for us with the time and score the way it was. So we got to get a little sharper as a group and in finishing some of our chances. That we've been creating high-quality chances and not finishing them off. We got to get a little hungry at the net. And, with our D, not just Taser, but all of them, I want to see him get more involved here.
Coach, is Yusuf starting tonight?
Yes.
And is Georgie backing up?
Gorgie's backing up, yeah.
Drew, and he's been skating with the team for a while. Is he getting close?
He's close, yeah. I don't know which game it's going to be, but he's getting close. He's feeling better every day. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
So a lot of people getting closer, but not quite there yet for the Avalanche lineup. It is what it is on that front. For the guys they have, pick one guy to step up tonight. Who's it got to be?
I'm going with the fascinating story of the week. You know, our boy. I mean, again, I mess up his name all the time, but Prishchapov. God, I think it's a fascinating story. I love the story that he didn't go home for almost like over 2 years, and because he was stuck here because of COVID, and he was in the queue there, and that's how I know his story a little bit. But obviously, took a chance on himself, really, when you think about it, and it paid off. And again, is he called up because of injuries? Absolutely. You know what I mean? But that's what life is. I mean, there was an injury to Drew Bledsoe. That's why Tom Brady got his start, right? If he doesn't get injured, maybe he never gets, to be the GOAT or whatever it's called. But I like the story. I'm going to go with Bishbashov to do something tonight to make the most of his opportunity, and I just think that it's a cool story, and I think that it's pretty fascinating to watch, and I think the kid's delivered. So I want to watch him tonight.
I enjoy that. I'll take the big guy. It's got to be Mikko. It's got to be Mikko Rantanen for this team. The Avs need more out of him.
I gave it to you on a silver platter, buddy.
You did. They need him to put the puck in the back of the net. That's just the fact of the matter. This is a guy who has a 55-goal season.
Yeah.
He has 4 goals this year. He scored once since opening night. He needs to score goals for this hockey team. Full stop. And all the cute passing stuff, great. He gets assists all the time, great. Score a goal. And 2, hit the net. Let's start with hitting the net with your shots. Far too many shots from that guy especially. Not that he isn't shooting, but it's a lot of over the net, miss the net, wide. Don't put competitive shots in. It's good quality shots out of Mikko Rantanen.
When he's on, for me, it starts on the power play on the right circle.
Yep.
When he goes top glove there, it's almost a given. You know what I mean? Like from almost actually even anywhere from the circle to the goal line, as you know, when he's there and he shoots on his one knee. And when he's bang on there, that's when he's deadly. That's when he's on. He's feeling it. Look out, if he's getting one early tonight, he might get multiple.
I hope he does. I think the Avs probably win if he does. Well, we can talk about that right now as we get into my bets with the pregame picks from Bet365. Of course, it's never ordinary with Bet365. I took the Avs to win the first period. We talked about that. If they win the first, they probably win the game. That's plus 145. Lucky at plus 270 for a power play point. He's going to be on that PP1 most likely. So a pretty good gamble there to go with that. And then if you want the big money hit at plus 1,800, you can take Mikko and Lecky to score, as well as Jared McCann to pot 1 for Seattle. Hard to pass up at that level of plus. If you feel pretty good about at least a couple of those hitting, maybe
that's
you
the
get
one
all
I
three.
got, right? Yeah, that's the one I got. Yeah.
Yeah, $20 to win 420.
Yep.
So jump in with that. Go get your bets in with Bet365. Of course, when you do gamble with Bet365, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. I would really like to see the Avs. I don't know if I want to say play a complete game, because I really did think they played pretty well against Nashville. It's just they didn't have the finishing ability, and a couple of bounces didn't go their way.
Again, you know what helps to have finishing ability? You had a finished player on the line.
Finish with 2
platter.
ends.
Yes.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
Must be nice out there.
That's good.
I still have not seen official confirmation of the Avs lineup anywhere, so I'm just going to make a guess at it. We're assuming Lehkonen slots in on that top line immediately with Rantanen and McKinnon. That leaves Middlestat to play with kind of the leftovers. I do expect some shifting and shaking down the lineup. But with Lehkonen in, it should be Oliver Shillington as the healthy scratch, so you're actually playing 12 proper forwards. And then we are expecting Calvin DeHaan to step back in for the defense over John Ludwig. So,
again, bottom 9, ham sandwich, make it happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Whoever's hot, throw them in together. Go, go, go. I don't mind that.
Bednar has been pretty comfortable playing Ivan up on that second line with Middlestat. I would expect that third spot. Is it LOC? Maybe it's Nikolai Kovalenko. Maybe it's whoever's hot down the lineup. Whatever it ends up being, fine. In the middle, you probably have Parker Kelly as your 3C and Chris Wagner as your 4C. They also could put Ivan down there as the 4C. Again, it's going to be the blender outside of that top line. And honestly, maybe even that top line. You may well see Lecky or Mikko move down to that second line to try and help Middlestat a little bit too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Expect it to be a little all over the place, but expect it to be an Avs team that is hungry to find a win. Eric, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, it's funny because Rachel's probably getting ready to give Artturi Lehkonen an interview, like a 1-minute interview, and she has 36 questions for the man of few words.
Yeah, it's the 5-second answers go fast.
He's the best at yes or no.
Comes. He does not say a whole lot to anybody. But Good Stick Lecky is back in the lineup for the Avs. You love to see it. How much weight are you putting into this game, Eric? If they win it, I think you feel fine. You don't really overthink the last couple of losses. You're good. If they lose it, do you start to have concerns?
Well, I'm it's not fair almost because the lineup, right? Put the lineup aside, right? But I'm starting to get worried a little bit at home, to be honest with you. When you're digging yourself
do not have a good home record.
You're starting to dig yourself a big home hole. And then you go win 4 or 5 in a row, and you're barely back at 500. You know what I mean? And you're going to drop 1 or 2 there. You know what I mean? Then you're chasing all the time. So somehow, I am starting to get worried if they drop this one at home tonight. I think there's no excuse tonight to play your A game. You've lost 3 in a row. I don't care who's playing it. It's the National Hockey League. You have enough in the lineup to go make it a victory tonight and not be on the L side of things, because 3 in a row, you don't want to make it 4 in a row. And actually, let a Western Conference team like Seattle Kraken get that 4th in a row, and don't make it yourself to make it 4 in a row.
All right. Well, I will say this. I see the Toyota chat talking about Gabe Landeskog, some of that rumor news stuff today. We won't talk about it today because there's an Avs game happening. We will probably talk about it on tomorrow's off-day show. So if you're looking for that, make sure you tune into tomorrow's podcast. For tonight, we have a hockey game to watch. Hopefully the Avs look good. We will be doing a watch-along for it, so come join us for that. Or at very least, join us for the post-game where we will break down whatever happens in this one. We will talk to you in a few minutes. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by Coors Light.
We all silly like the mayor.